What is up, guys? It's Swimmer here, back again with some more Go Battle League action in the Great League. It has been more than a week since I've recorded, um, and I do apologize for that, but I've mostly just been using teams that I've used before, been sticking with pretty familiar teams because I want to grind up through the ranks, the early ranks as quickly as I can. I think I've spoken before about this on my channel, but I find it pretty difficult to really gauge where I'm at in a season until I get ranked. So I usually like to try and get ranked um, really as early as I can, um, just because it makes it easier to sort of level set where I'm at and really know what I need to do to progress and whether progressing is reasonable. Um, but I am going to be trying out a new team today. This is a team that I first saw featured on FP Stix's channel, and it is a Skarmory, Diggersby, and Jellicent. Jellicent being the safe swap here. Um, I think the idea here is that Skarmory is going to, handle those grass types very well, which both Diggersby and Jellicent would struggle against. And then, something like an Alola Marowak that would normally beat Skarmory pretty handily, or other fire types, or electric types for that matter. All of those are handled quite well by Diggersby, but haven't played it before, so I really don't know how it's going to go. But let's go ahead and get right into the battles. Alright, Skarmory into Gengar. This is okay if it just has Shadow Punch, not great if it has Shadow Ball. So we're going to shield up the first one because they did build up to a Shadow Ball. It is the Shadow Ball, so that's really not great for us. We're going to go ahead and throw here. And what we're going to look to try and do is try and catch a Shadow Ball on the Diggersby. So I got to build up basically to the next Sky Attack. I think I swapped one Air Slash too early. I wanted to give myself the best chance of catching it. And then I get some major lag there, which is really unfortunate. I'm going to no-shield this. But that lag there was really tough. I have no idea what their count is at anymore. So I'm going to have to throw this Earthquake and then hope that I can get to another one pretty quickly. I am definitely going to be able to get to another Earthquake here, but likely they're going to get to another Ice Beam very shortly. As I did go over 100 energy. Yeah, here's going to be the next Ice Beam. This is okay. Likely going to look to come in now with Skarmory and farm this down. So now we've got a Sky Attack ready for whatever's coming in. It is an Umbreon, and this is pretty bad for us. Umbreon is going to dominate Jellicent in the back, so we need to get off another Sky Attack here, hope that it connects, but this is, I think, pretty much game over, especially because they've got a Shadow Ball stored on that Gengar, so we're really in pretty tough here. The Dark Pulse is going to take us out. Jellicent's going to come in, and they're going to get to a Dark Pulse quite quickly. I can't shield this because the Gengar does have a Shadow Ball banked, so they do connect with the Dark Pulse there. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Ice Beam. My opponent is likely just waiting for me to throw energy, and then they're probably going to swap. Yeah, they do go ahead and swap here. So we're going to shield this. It's just going to be a Shadow Punch, but it doesn't really matter. We've got to shield it. And they actually have back-to-back Shadow Punches. I thought they were a little bit short, but either way, we had no way to kill the Umbreon, so we were going to lose that one anyways. Umbreon is definitely a pretty tough Pokemon for this team to deal with. Skarmory can sort of hang with Umbreon. It's a losing matchup, but it's pretty neutral. Diggersby, I think, is a winning matchup, but again, it's pretty neutral. And Jellicent is just dominated by it. So, alright, Azu on the lead. This is okay for us. What we're going to look to do is build up. So they are throwing an Ice Beam here, totally fine with us. We're going to look to count their moves here. They've got 3 bubbles in. He's going to throw the Brave Bird here, hoping that they don't shield this. And then should be 2 more bubbles, and they actually swap out. I was trying to catch the Ice Beam there, but I just wasn't quick enough to adjust my my swap, I really needed to swap into Diggersby here. Diggersby is a very good matchup against Stunfisk, and if I'd been able to get into Diggersby, I think I win this game, but because I am into Jellicent, uh, this is going to be a very tight matchup. I am going to be able to survive this Rock Slide and get off the Shadow Ball, um, but really I would prefer to have a lot of health and energy on the Diggersby rather than, just maintaining switch here. So this isn't looking great for us. Azu is going to come back in and get some more farm. We're going to come in now with Skarmory, and we pretty much have to shield this because we do have a Diggersby in the back, which is not going to appreciate the Azu. So we're going to build up and going to go for another Brave Bird here. Now we're going to swap out of the Skarmory into the Diggersby, see what they've got in the back. And then we actually CMP tie again, which is really bad for us. We are going to have to burn our last shield here. And it's an Altaria in the back, so that's game over. If we had swapped into Diggersby on the Stunfisk, we win that game because Jellicent has a winning matchup against Altaria, especially in the Zero Shield, which is what it would have been there. But because we had already sort of planned to catch that Ice Beam, that was not at all, that's just not what happened. So next matchup here, we get Skarmory into Victory Bell. That is great for us. They swap in Deoxys, and so Jellicent is a very good response to this. I'm already expecting it to be a Bastiodon in the back. This is the sort of modified Grass Hole of Victory Bell, Deoxys, and Bastiodon. So I built up a little bit of extra energy, just enough that I'm going to be able to get to an Ice Beam against this Victory Bell. That's going to get a shield, which is really nice for us. Skarmory can now come in and farm this all the way down unless they decide to swap out. I deliberately didn't wait the clock out, knowing that they were still switch-locked for a little bit. And then I can get my Diggersby onto this Bastiodon. They decide to surrender, but that was game over. Basically what I was going to do was build up to 100 energy and throw the Earthquake, always leaving myself with 100 energy. So that I could threaten a Fire Punch very quickly on the Victory Bell and take their last shield. But good game. I just had hard counters for all three of their Pokemon there. Alright, Galvantula on the lead. So Galvantula is pretty tricky for this team to deal with because you can't really swap into Jellicent. So I'm going to go ahead and no-shield the Discharge. It does a lot of damage, but it will not take you out. And then I'm going to go for a Sky Attack myself here. Most of the time they're going to shield this, and they do in fact shield. And so now we can come in with Diggersby. We're going to have to take a lunge. We might even want to take two, but going to no-shield it. Take the lunge, no problem. They're getting to the move right there, so I throw right before they get the energy for the next lunge. The Fire Punch here should be enough to take them out. It does take them out. We're going to look to swap out no matter what to remove our debuffs. They bring in Politoed, and then it's a Stunfisk in the back. So this is looking pretty good for us. Basically what I want to have happen here is for Jellicent to burn the shield, and then Diggersby to be able to come in and farm all the way down to get a ton of energy. So I'm not going to shield my Jellicent here just yet. It is a discharge, so is dealing quite a bit of damage. I do want to shield now because I want to get off this next Ice Beam, and they're not quite in Mud Shot down range yet, so I really need to get a little bit more damage off. This Ice Beam is definitely going to be threatening that shield. If they let it go, they're going to have to Earthquake my Jellicent, and if they don't, then I'm going to be able to farm them down. So I can safely no-shield this now. Discharge will take me out, and we can come in and aggressively farm this with Diggersby. We get a little bit of lag. This is just going to be a Mud Bomb, no need to shield. I definitely want to save a shield for a potential Weather Ball from that Politoed. We're at 100 energy, so we can throw this Earthquake right away. This is probably going to deal about half of Politoed's health, a little more likely. Yeah, just about 55%. And then this next Earthquake is definitely going to be enough to take them out. They were trying to build up to the back-to-back, but they were a couple Mud Shots short still. And that is a good game there. Alright, so finally able to get a win, but we're still just 1 win, 2 losses right now, so hopefully we can turn it around a little bit here. Alright, we have Skarmory into Frostlast. This is a reasonable matchup. What I'm going to look to do, I think, is just go for the Sky attacks. I'm not going to shield, and likely what's going to happen is I'm going to come in with Jellicent and look to farm down. So I'm going to go for a Sky attack just before they get to the Avalanche. They went for Shadow Ball, which is actually quite good for me, because they need to use 2 charge moves to take me out anyways. So it just means that they did it with 10 extra energy, and I actually did decide to shield there, just to win switch there since I knew that I could farm down. They come in with Galvantula, but they swapped out, so this is pretty good for me because I can bring in the Diggersby onto the Galvantula. Diggersby is a great response here. It's going to be double resisting those Volt switches, double resisting the Discharge, and the Lunge is neutral. Plus, you're able to cleanly outpace it, so we can go for the Fire Punch here. This is going to deal not too much damage because we are lunged, but we're just going to keep building up a lot of extra energy, and I want to burn out the clock a little bit too if I can. So I'm going to go for another Fire Punch here. This is definitely going to be taking them out. We do take them out, and my clock is up, so I'm going to swap out right away. I'm going to swap into the Jellicent here, and they bring in their Whiscash, and so this is basically just going to be, this is basically game over, right? Mud Bomb is spammy, but it just doesn't do enough damage to a tanky Pokemon like Jellicent to really be too threatening, and Shadow Ball is such a strong nuke that it's really going to hit for a lot of damage. So we do connect with a Shadow Ball here, and now that we've connected with that, this is basically game over. Not going to shield again. And I should likely be able to get to another Shadow Ball. Yeah, we've got the Shadow Ball here. And they're going to have to throw some energy at me, so they're not going to be able to overfarm too much because I'm actually fairly close to that next Shadow Ball. So we're going to no-shield this, come in with our Skarmory, and basically they're going to be forced to throw a Mud Bomb at our Skarmory as well. They try and catch on the Frostlast, however they just catch a Air Slash. And it means that we can actually get to this Sky attack against the Whiscash to take them out. And we, of course, still have the Fire Punch saved on the Diggersby, which would have been enough from that health to take out the Whiscash. Alright, so able to get to rank 16 here. So gonna keep going now with the same team. I do wish that you got to see your MMR or your rating just a little bit earlier on, because this is pretty tough to know where you're at. Alright, Swampert. This is a reasonably neutral matchup for Skarmory. A lot of it comes down to if you're able to deny a fast move or sneak in an extra fast move. And so I'm going to take one Hydro Cannon, shield up the next one, and then we don't let any Mud Shot through there, which is quite good for us. So they should be 5 Mud Shots away, and we should just be 3 Air Slashes away, which means that we're going to beat them by half a turn to the charge move here. So really, really good for us that we're able to get there. And then there's a little bit of lag, but my opponent is going to throw here, and this is going to definitely take us out. So you guys can see how that matchup is very dependent on who gets an extra fast move through. But we can now come in with Jellicent, and Jellicent is a very good response to a Swampert because you are resisting the Hydro Cannons, resisting the Sludge Wave, and I'm actually going to look to really aggressively farm this all the way down. I was thinking about throwing that Ice Beam there before they got to another charge move, but I decided to just try and farm it down. They come in with Skarmory, and I don't know why I throw the Ice Beam here. It's definitely a mistake. Definitely want to be throwing the Shadow Ball, but I build up to store a charge move there. Then I come in with Diggersby. And then likely what they're going to do here, I thought they were going to Brave Bird because they're likely to only get to 1 charge move. So I decided to shield. Was just a Sky attack, which is totally fine, but that's going to mean that I do have to throw 2 Fire Punches instead of 1. And that's going to be enough to take them out. Swampert comes back in. I made sure that I farmed up just a little bit of extra energy so that I could outpace this Swampert to a Fire Punch. So we're able to take it out. And then it's an Alolan Marowak in the back, and Alolan Marowak really has no chance of taking out a Diggersby, not unless it's running Fire Blast. So that's a good game. I was just going to be able to get to an Earthquake and take them out quite easily. So well played by my opponent, but Diggersby really came in clutch in the end there. All right, Skarmory into Mew. Mew is a really tough Pokemon to deal with. Usually on the lead, it's running Surf and Wild Charge, and so generally what I like to do is take the Wild Charge, and then uh, depending on the IVs of the Mew and your Skarmory, you might be able to get to another Sky Attack if they try and farm you down. However, they actually decide to throw just as we're getting to another Sky Attack, so you can see that I would have made it. However, I think that would have KO'd through the shield, so I decided not to shield because that would be really bad. But we can come in with Jellicent now and look to farm down. I am going to have to shield up a Wild Charge, but we're going to be able to Hex down and leave this with almost enough for a Shadow Ball. They come in with Mandibuzz, so I can go for an Ice Beam here. And then what I'm going to look to do is catch a Foul Play on my Diggersby. So they're at 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to swap here, and we are able to catch a Foul Play. So this is pretty good for us. We'll have to see what they've got in the back. They're building up to another Foul Play, which is a really great play on their part because the Mud Shots are double resisted, so they're not really taking very much damage at all there. But we're going to be able to get to an Earthquake against this Vigoroth. And what we're going to do now is just go for the Fire Punch. All we need to do is get this Vigoroth low. And we go for the Fire Punch here, and I think my opponent makes a great play here. Yeah, my opponent decides to stop attacking there, which is a really great play on their part. I should have just looked to farm them all the way down. But it's a great play because if I could have farmed them with Jellicent, then I would have been able to really get an energy advantage here. But as it is, I had enough energy stored, and we were able to sneak a Hex through that we're going to be able to Ice Beam. And then since it's only 4 hexes for the third Ice Beam, we're going to be able to reach it before they get to the next Foul Play, and that's going to be enough to take them out, and that's going to be a good game. So really close game there, very well played by my opponent. Really the key there was the energy management on Jellicent and catching that Foul Play onto the Diggersby. My opponent did a really good job of managing the energy on their Mandibuzz as well, but it just came down to Jellicent slightly outpaces Mandibuzz. All right, Hypno on the lead, so pretty interesting for us. We're going to go ahead and go for a Sky Attack here. This is going to deal some nice damage, and they're building up quite a lot, so I'm going to look to likely swap out. I tried to catch presumably what's going to be a Thunder Punch on the Diggersby, but it's actually a Fire Punch. So I'm going to now swap into Jellicent to absorb the second one, because they're very likely to throw another one since they built up to back-to-back, and it is going to deal not very much damage at all. This is a Snarl Mandibuzz coming in, so considerably worse than the Air Slash one we saw last match, but we are going to be able to rip off an Ice Beam here to deal a nice chunk of damage. Alright, they're getting to another charge move here, and I'm actually going to look to shield this because I think that I can get to 2 Ice Beams or force them to throw again. So I do go for an Ice Beam here. We deny the fast move, which is really important. They're definitely going to try and snarl down, but we're going to be able to make it to another Ice Beam, and this is going to force them to shield or let the Mandibuzz go. They do decide to shield, so we've got a shield advantage now. We can come in with Skarmory and throw the Sky Attack. We do get an Air Slash through, so we have the energy now. This won't take us out. And we're going to undertap, but my opponent makes a great swap into Hypno. So this is going to take out the Hypno, but the Mandibuzz is really where we wanted that Sky Attack to go because it's going to be able to put in work against the Diggersby. They're throwing the Foul Play here. We got to build up a lot of extra energy, so I'm going to take another Foul Play, but Mandibuzz is so tanky, and non-stab Fire Punch just doesn't deal a lot of damage, so we're going to go for a Fire Punch here. But you guys are going to see, this just doesn't deal very much damage at all. And then I lag a little bit, which was really nice. I wanted to throw one more Mud Shot and Fire Punch, but instead I'm going to have to eat another Foul Play, which is really not great for me. It's an Azu in the back, so I don't think it really mattered what I did, because, I mean, maybe if I had shielded up that Foul Play or had, then I would have been able to rip off these 2 Earthquakes, and would have had enough health to make it to a Fire Punch, but tough to say. Yeah, if I had enough health, if I'd shielded the Foul Play, maybe I could have made it to a Fire Punch, but I still would have had to make it to a Fire Punch against the Mandibuzz as well. So pretty tall order there. I don't think it really mattered what I did. I was going to end up with Diggersby against Azu in the back, which just wasn't gonna fly. All right, Abomasnow on the lead. I'm just going to stay in here and get some nice Air Slash damage off. Abomasnow is not a great Pokemon for me to see. They come into Sableye, and so I'm going to go into my Diggersby. I'm quite slow on the swap, but this is such a dominant matchup for Diggersby that it really doesn't matter. I am going to shield a potential return here. And then we're going to build up to basically 100 energy and look to throw an Earthquake. This is just going to be a Foul Play. There's really no need for me to shield here. Yeah, it is just Foul Play. Earthquake is likely going to be enough to take them out. Yeah, Earthquake does take out the Sableye, and we can throw one more Mud Shot to get to a Fire Punch against this Abomasnow. Taking that Foul Play is a little bit unfortunate, because it's going to mean that a Weather Ball might be enough to take us out here. Yeah, Weather Ball does take us out, so not great. If we hadn't taken that Foul Play, we could have gotten to another Fire Punch. They swap out into Azu, so I'm going to go ahead and throw a Brave Bird. And then I'm going to look to swap into my Jellicent. And the purpose of that Brave Bird is really just to make it so that I can significantly over-farm here and force that Abomasnow into burning quite a bit of energy. They throw the Hydro Pump, which means they don't have Play Rough, so this is a very dominant matchup. They're definitely not going to shield this Shadow Ball, so that's going to take them out. We're going to shield up this ourselves. It is just a Weather Ball, but we're close enough to another charge move that we are going to be able to force them to shield themselves. And we've got our Skarmory with a fair bit of energy. I'm actually going to swap into it here, hoping to catch an Energy Ball. However, this is still going to force them to throw back-to-back Weather Balls, which is going to take away all of their energy. And we're going to be able to get to a charge move with Jellicent instead. So they're able to take out the Skarmory. However, one more Hex and we're at an Ice Beam, and that's going to be enough to take out the Abomasnow. We should probably be going for Shadow Ball instead of Ice Beam, since it's the better move. It gets Stab, and it's the same energy. But really didn't matter there. They were within Ice Beam range, so. Alright, getting into what I think is probably the last battle here. And it is Skarmory into Stunfisk. This is pretty bad. I'm going to go ahead and swap into Jellicent. And in comes a Meganium, and I'm going to go for the Ice Beam, really hoping to get a shield. And I think that what I should have actually done there is undercharged the Ice Beam. You guys are going to... This Meganium is so low now that I'm not really going to be able to get a ton of farm with Skarmory. And if I'd undercharged, I could have left with, you know, basically 100 energy without really taking too much damage myself. But instead, I'm going to leave with, you know, not quite a Sky Attack, and we're really not going to be able to threaten whatever comes in. So it is the Stunfisk coming in. I'm going to do 2 more and hope to catch a Rock Slide. We do not catch a Rock Slide, and it's an Azu in the back, so this is pretty much game over. If I had been able to build up a ton of energy on the Skarmory, we might have been able to throw a Brave Bird at that Stunfisk and then, you know, put them in a bit of a weird spot. We're going to go ahead and shield up an Ice Beam here. We did land an Earthquake, so that's pretty good for us. We're going to build up and then go for a Fire Punch. Likely they're going to shield this because they need to respect the Earthquake. They do go ahead and shield, and then we're going to go for another Earthquake ourselves here, shielding up this next Ice Beam, um, and we're able to get to the Earthquake. If they don't shield, we should be able to Mud Shot down. They don't shield, so they're very low now. They actually swap into um, the Stunfisk, and I think that what I needed to do there was actually swap very quickly into my Skarmory to catch that Earthquake. That, I think, was the win con. I'm just going to be able to get to a Fire Punch here as a result, and so this is pretty much game over. I need at least 2 Brave Birds to take them out, and I'm just not going to be able to get there. So I'm going to build up to 99 energy, go for a Brave Bird. I definitely should have gone to 100 here, since either way I need... it's the same number of Air Slashes, even though I'm losing 8 energy, but another Brave Bird wouldn't have been enough to KO, and this Rock Slide is definitely going to take me out. Plus, they still had that Azu with a little bit of health in the back, so that's a good game. Very well played by my opponent, but not able to take it. The only way I win that game is if I catch the Earthquake from the Stunfisk on the Skarmory, um, and then I think I have a chance, basically. So, thank you guys so much for watching, though, and I hope to see you next time.